It's not lame-ass karate. It's Cobra Kai.
It's not lame-ass karate. It's Cobra Kai. It's not lame-ass karate. It's DiGiorno. It's not lame-ass karate. It's a me. Hi, so I don't like Cobra Kai, and for a lot of people, I'm like their only martial arts friend, or I'm one of their martial arts friends. So I made this video hoping that when Cobra Kai season 40 comes out, people will leave me alone and I can just show them this video, but it's probably gonna have the opposite effect. So this video is gonna have 3 parts to it. Number 1. I'm gonna talk about myself for like 2 minutes, because not because I want to, because, well, I want to, but like I kind of have to. Number 2. I'm gonna also talk about the things I like about the show, because I don't think it's entirely a bad show. Number 3. Then I'm gonna talk about what I don't like about the show. And number 4. There is no part 4. So I'm a 4th degree black belt in American Tang Soo Do. That's the style that was at least mentioned once in Cobra Kai. I've also been teaching for like the past 10 years in Southern California. So, you know, there's that. And then lastly, I've also done a lot of on-screen and off-screen martial arts choreography, which is what, you know, Cobra Kai is doing. I just have to freaking say it, because last time I made a video, this group called the Weeaboo Club tried to correct me on my Japanese. First of all, I wasn't even speaking Japanese. I was talking in English, and I said a Japanese word in English, and I added an S at the end of it, animes instead of anime for plural. And I know that there's no S plural in Japan. I speak the language because I had to go to school there when I was a child, because I grew up there, because my family is from there, okay? So it's fine. I mean, I talked to them afterwards, and they're actually really cool. They're actually really nice. But, you know, as far as correcting me on the language that I speak, まあ、だから君たちは日本人クラブじゃなくて、親分クラブって自分で名前もつけてるでしょ。で、そもそも僕日本語ペラペラ喋れるから、普通英語喋ってる時に日本語を練習するとかそういう考え方してないんですよ。それにね、僕の名字、マキ、どうして日本がそんなに好きなら気づいてないの? And also, if you're like, well, if you speak fluent Japanese, why don't you, you know, pronounce it correct all the time? Well, it's... I don't care. Anyways, here are the things I like about the show. There's a handful of characters on the show that I really like. Johnny Lawrence is probably my favorite character, because a lot of the subtlety in the show is carried by him. But not only that, he's just the most enjoyable person to watch on screen.
Oh, no. I didn't call her a bitch. I said she was bitching at me. You're firing me because of that bitch?
I swear, I want to give a hug to him.
Nice shirt.
Thanks.
I'm joking, it sucks.
And whoever writes for him.
You've trained hard. You've gotten stronger, tougher, faster. You've done your best. You're ready for this tournament, am I right?
Yes, Sensei!
Wrong!
Pretty good characters include Amanda. She's like the only voice of reason on the show. Dimitri.
Brute strength is only gonna get you so far.
You got a better idea, smartass?
Ever heard of a fulcrum?
And Hawk, not because I particularly like his character. Well, I do like his character, but he's played by Jacob Bertrand, who is just like a talented martial artist. And not only that, he's just super talented at a lot of things in general, and is just like a cool guy. Another thing I like is that the show is like strangely woke sometimes. And by that, I don't mean like fake Disney woke. They're woke in like the most subtle sort of way.
No, except boys and girls. Gender what?
To the point where it's a little bit more like meta commentary rather than being like, oh, we're so woke.
Asian whitewashing? They're calling me Daniel the Racist on here. Stereotypical music. That was Mr. Miyagi's favorite song.
And then lastly, I actually do like season 1 of the show. Season 1 is I'm gonna say it's a good season. It's just the Karate Kid movie again, but more things are touched upon, like more themes, because it's a whole season, not just like an hour and a half long movie. Well, I'm gonna use air quotes for this part I'm explaining, because I know there's that whole theory about how Daniel LaRusso is the real bully and not Johnny, but whatever. Daniel LaRusso, the good kid, moves to town and meets Johnny Lawrence, the bad kid, and he gets bullied by him. So Daniel LaRusso learns karate from a karate teacher who's a good karate teacher, and then you know, Johnny Lawrence has like the bad guy karate teacher, and they're both bad. And then they dish out their problems at the All Valley tournament, which is a great conclusion for, you know, what they were doing. So season 1 basically does that same thing, except the good teacher, quote unquote, has the bad kid, Robbie, right? And the bad teacher, quote unquote, has the good kid, which is Miguel. And it kind of shows the parallel between the two, like either of them could have been each other in the past, almost like a Naruto, Sasuke, Obito, and Kakashi kind of thing. But at the same time, it shows that like sometimes a good person can do a bad thing if they're confused enough, and a bad person be good if, you know, they have that right guidance and they're given the chance to. And if they're horny, and then everything leads back up to the All Valley tournament. And it's kind of a good conclusion for what they were doing. If only it concluded. That's my segue into what I don't like about the show, okay? The rest of the show after season 1 is nothing for 4 seasons. I wish I could even say that they did this plot of season 1 again and again and again, but they don't even do that. A lot of people are mad at each other. Some teens, one karate school go to the bad one, and then the good kids go to the good one, which sides a lot. Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence keep doing this thing where they're like, I trust you now, and I trust you, and then 2 seconds later they're like, no, fuck you, not fuck you. To be continued on the next season. Like, what's gonna be continued? The same thing? I also don't like that the show is kind of lazy in the sense that it seems like there's an executive who's like, hey, put these things in the show because it's the most relatable and marketable and people will watch it. An example of it being that Stranger Things came out and it was a huge success, had this whole 80s theme with the music and this really interesting cinematography style. These like transitions that go from scene to scene using the same element from one scene to another. And then it's just so happened that like not even 2 years later, another show comes out on the same platform that uses the similar aesthetic of the 80s, similar music, and even the same transition style.
I think I do. Somebody's got to teach you to keep your hands to yourself. Okay.
I'm not saying that that transition style is only specific to the Duffer Brothers. I know that a lot of cinematographers can do it too because they've done it in the past, but it's just like, it just seems a little bit too close for it to be a coincidence. And then lastly, the martial arts on the show. That's probably the only reason I really don't like the show. Not necessarily the writing and like the references and stuff. Like I've watched Riverdale and other teen dramas that creepy moms like, but it's really just the martial arts.
Too bad.
Here's a few real comments I got on the internet from when I said the martial arts on Cobra Kai is not that good. They're just kids, leave them alone. They're not martial artists, they're actors. Cut your hair. It's just a show, who cares? Okay, here are my answers. They're just kids, leave them alone. I have no problems with the kids. They're just part of a monolithic system that promises them fame and fortune, and they're just doing their job as actors. Honestly, I like a lot of those actors because they're actually pretty good actors. They're just not really good martial artists. 2, they're just actors, not martial artists. Okay, well, for a martial arts show, maybe, I don't know, cast some martial art. 3, cut your hair. Okay, well, lose some weight. Number 4, it's just a show, who cares? Okay, first of all, if it's just a show, then who cares? Why are you defending it? That's like saying, oh, I don't care, but, you know, tell me anyways. Second of all, you can use that argument to justify and to just, like, diffuse anything. I'm gonna assume that most people who are watching this video really like the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, and M. Night Shyamalan made a movie called The Last Airbender. We all know this, it was just the worst movie in the world. It even won the Razzie Award, which is the award for the worst movie ever. If I were to just say like, well, it's just a show, who cares? It's like, no, that means that anyone can get away with making anything bad and it doesn't matter, but it does. Also, if you're saying it's a who cares, okay, then why did you, it's congrats, okay? You're very cool. If you're right, if you don't care about everything, then no one can make fun of you for anything. But you know what? I'm doing it right now. I'm making fun of you. You went out of your way to comment on the YouTube video when you could have just, you know, done the thing that like people who actually don't care do, which is nothing. Before I go into why I don't like the martial arts on the show, I'm just gonna say it right now real quick. Jacob Bertrand, awesome martial artist. Robbie and Miguel's actors, they're also pretty decent. They're not bad, they're also just not super good yet. And then Johnny Lawrence, you know what? For an older guy, he's not bad. He's a coordinated guy. I'm sorry, Ralph Macchio. You're so uncoordinated. Great actor though. Again, these people are all great actors, amazing actors. There's this scene in season 1 where Daniel LaRusso and Sam and Robbie put on a martial arts demo on a stage, right? And there's this cool lit background that just shows their silhouettes. That would have been a perfect time to switch out the two people who can't do martial arts, you know, Daniel and Sam. You can keep Robbie in there, he's actually pretty good. And bring in two martial artists, like their stunt doubles, to do the part, and they don't even do that. They go with this. And it just doesn't look good. I don't care if the background's all woo-woo and oriental. Okay, I can say that because I'm Asian. I don't care if he's using a weapon and a bow staff and it's all like, oh, and like the characters on the screen are reacting like, oh my God, it's so good. It's not good, it doesn't look good. I don't get why they can't use martial arts actors, because there's no shortage of martial artists who want to be actors. Most martial artists want to be actors. There's literally a clip in there where they have Matt Emig in the background for like 2 seconds. One of the most talented martial artists in the world. He's a world champion multiple times, and he's in the background for 2 seconds. If you're a professional martial artist, you either A, go into competitions, B, you go into teaching, or C, you go into like stunt work. I can't really think of anything other than that. Oh, I guess like there's like professional fighting, but I'm gonna lump that into the category of competition. But I'm gonna say 25% of all martial artists out there are also in the acting scene. And I say 25% because just because you're a good combat fighter doesn't automatically mean that you're good at like on-camera choreography. I don't know, I'm just gonna name a really good fighter. Manny Pacquiao, great boxer, one of my favorites. Just because he's a great boxer doesn't mean you can slap him in front of a camera and he'll automatically look really good on camera. Of course, there are examples of both, like Benny the Jet is an extremely good fighter and a kickboxer, and he looks really, really good on camera. And of course, the inverse exists also. A lot of the martial arts actors, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, they look great on camera. If you put them into like a combative setting, like you put them into like UFC or kickboxing or Pride or whatever, they're probably not gonna do as well as the professional fighters there. And that's okay. I just feel like Cobra Kai just gives a really bad name to people who work so hard to make good martial arts content. Avatar: The Last Airbender is this awesome show where it's about like the bending styles, and not only are the bending styles used to like master the elements and stuff, but it's also something you use to master yourself as a person. In Teppu and like Hajime no Ippo and like even like the Kenichi manga, they're just so bad at their martial arts when they first start. And then they just work really, really hard, and eventually they become really, really good at it. And you're just kind of like, wow, oh my God, they did it. Martial Club, even before they were a professional production, you can tell how passionate those guys are and how much they practice just to get that perfect shot on camera. A near perfect shot is not enough for them. They have to have the perfect shot.
Oh, yeah, can I get it? Can I see it? I'm related to him. He's my older brother. I don't fucking know, dude. That's my brother.
And Cobra Kai doesn't really have that. I'm not saying that the cast members on the show don't try, and I'm not saying that there are genuinely good staff members, writers, and cinematographers on the show that aren't good at their job. Honestly, it's really the suits, but here's the thing. I totally get it. When I went to the Martial Arts Super Show last year, yes, that is a real thing. All the best karate schools in the nation were there. And half of the people there were wearing Cobra Kai shirts. And it's probably because for them and for most of us, Cobra Kai must feel like representation, you know? Johnny Lawrence is very much a person who uses his martial arts to state to the world that he is still here and he is still relevant. He picks himself up and he uses the medium of teaching karate to not just better his own life, but to better the lives of the people around him and this kid that he really cares about. And I think for a lot of karate teachers, we feel that too. I didn't go to college. I didn't have an education plan. If it weren't for martial arts, my one biggest passion in my life, I don't know what I'd be doing with my life. So I get that. It's still a fucking terrible show.